I know you're expecting another Predators predictions, but before I get to one of those, I have a special guest to introduce you to. He is the winner of the original UFC Ultimate Fighter TV show. He is also a former light heavyweight champion of the world for UFC. And he's also won 5 times the UFC Fight of the Night. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome one of my favorite fighters of all time, Renzo Gracie.
All right.
My pleasure to welcome Forrest Griffin.
He didn't say my favorite fighter.
No.
Renzo, no.
Renzo's my favorite. Renzo's a hell of a fighter. You're just a cop that got kicked off the Air Force, or the Force, right?
Yeah, I couldn't cut it as the cops. I'm like, well, I like to fight people. Maybe it'll work out for me.
So you weren't the cop of the year at any point?
All right, so I wasn't dirty. I was just bad. I was just bad at my job. Yeah, I was just incompetent, basically.
I was a fireman for 5 or 6 or 7 years, and I was like a black ace.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, an ace, an airplane fighter, an ace, you get 3 kills. And
yeah.
A black ace is one who destroys 3 planes himself, on his own. And
so you like wrecking trucks?
No, I'd go in and could not perform CPR to literally save anybody's life. I'd go in there and just break their ribs,
Start them, press.
Yeah, it would just crush everything. We're just.
And they were like fighting.
Fighting.
You're just
Use
crushing.
to drive. Stay outside in the truck. Grab the hose.
You're literally just breaking people's ribs. You should think about maybe fighting people.
Put water on the hot stuff and then go beat somebody up. Yeah.
Well, what'd you think of last night? 2 flying knee knockouts. Rory McDonald had another nice flying knee. I mean, they just kept getting better. It was a shitty night to have a great fight. There's so many fight of the nights.
Right.
They just kept getting better. Like, oh, you get that? You got the 50 G's locked up. Nope. Better fight coming.
Next one, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, everybody gets a bonus.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This guy, the guy they're supposed to fight, didn't fight. Chad Mendez fought.
I
2
tell
weeks'
you,
notice.
Aldo ought to be hanging himself right now.
Why?
Well, he missed out on $3.5 million plus more.
Yeah, I don't know if you lose that fight if you get it again, and if you can't move for 3 weeks. You've had broken ribs, you've had broken everything. You probably have broken ribs right now, you just don't know it. But I don't know if that's the play. I never fought with broken ribs. I actually broke mine like a week after a fight. Yeah. Or I had them. That's right. I had my ribs broken in a fight.
Which fight?
The Quentin fight.
Because you got fight of the night 5 times, right?
Did I? I don't know. But no, I don't live in the past, Don. Right? It's over.
Come on. You walked in here and you had it all, on your shirt. It's on the back of your shirt.
The one. I always tell people, I'm that guy from that thing that one time. That's me. I'm the guy from the thing,
Well, I used to be, hey, you're Don Frye, and now it's, are you Don Frye?
Yeah. No, you look the same.
It goes quick.
No, I remember like '99 and be like, why is Magnum P.I. fighting? Magnum P.I. fights.
Damn, he looks good, right?
It's like, that's a sweet stash. No, I have like facial hair envy. So
where? Oh, envy. Oh,
envy. Yeah, envy. Where exactly?
Yeah.
I blame it on my Irish roots.
You're Irish?
I don't know.
Peter Griffin, that's right.
My last name's Irish. I like potatoes and I'm half a drunk. I got pale skin and don't tan. I got to be Irish, right?
Got to be Irish. Yeah.
So I think those are all the
qualifications.
Obviously,
you were voting for the Mick last night.
Man, I am such a disgust. Did I ever tell you about the time I was a sellout, Don? Because it's right now. I was voting for pretty much what happened. A good fight. Conor's just good for business. At the end of the day, like him or hate him, he's good for business. I'm sick of him because people just keep asking me about him. And I'm like, man, I really like the guy. When I met him in Boston, like when he tore his knee that fight, when he fought Max Holloway, I really liked him. I met him, and I thought this guy's a character, And I'm just like, I'm like, okay. I got like fatigue from Conor McGregor. I'm like, I don't know the guy that well. Quit asking me. People just say, what do you think about Conor?
So which was your favorite fight of the night since?
Obviously, it had to be the Roy McDonald, Robbie Lawler fight. It's one of the best fights I've seen. And it's funny to think, people booed in the first round. And the first round of that fight was actually really boring. But I said to the guy, I was like, hey, it's a 5-rounder. Take it easy the first round. And then I actually I don't talk about predictions. I don't do predictions. I'm horrible at them.
I do. That's
The
what it's
Predator
called,
does.
Predator's
What'd you
prediction.
have? What'd you have on it? Who'd you have winning?
I didn't pick one winner.
What does that even mean? Oh, you lost every.
Yeah, I lost every fight.
I
Yeah.
kind of thought Roy McDonald would win, and then after the first round, I said, "Oh, Roy McDonald's going to do just like he did to Tyrone Woodley. He's going to do this for 25 minutes with no problem." And then Robbie came out and started moving a lot better.
Fantastic.
The footwork,
Head movement.
yeah, head movement, the whole everything. Even when he was blocking it, it was still having some effect on Robbie. He's on this planet to be in the octagon. It's truly like that's warrior spirit, whatever. Like when he got dinged and hurt, he's sitting on the fence and he's telling I think it was John McCarthy. He's telling him he's fine as he's just getting the crap beat out of him.
Yeah, I had Rory McDonald until he showed up with that haircut at weigh-ins, and after that, I thought, nah, piss on him, I jumped ship, went over to Robbie, And Robbie, he's got his second wind in his career. It's amazing.
What an asshole. What an asshole.
How many surgeries do you think Rory's going to have on that nose?
Probably just the one, if they do it right.
So?
Just the one, yeah. Give him a new nose.
I think he's in for 2 or 3. That thing was shattered.
In the long, I don't know.
First,
it was broken.
The first one was like that, and then the next one it was just like an explosion.
Yeah. No.
So they got to go in there and find pieces of it and put it back, reassemble it.
Yeah, I guess they do.
Like Humpty Dumpty. What happened when Aldo pulled out?
Yeah.
I've had everybody in the corporate piss their pants and scattered, and then they had to find somebody to replace him. So what happened then?
So I was doing a combat ops that had the commercial for it. We go and you fight zombies, and then, it's like you go through doors. It's like Navy SEALs, Delta Force guy, Special Forces guy, basically clear houses and stuff. It was me and Liz Carmouche and Chad Mendez. And then the news is out, Aldo's hurt. And this is like, I don't know, maybe 16 days before the fight. And sure enough, Dana shows up. And then,
Wait, did he have a bucket of chicken, some roses?
certainly, I hope he didn't have.
How do you bribe Mendez?
I hope he didn't have any food. I don't think he had to bribe him. Mendez walked out. They talked. Mendez walked back in.
Big old smile on his face.
Yeah, and I didn't really want to ask him too much about it, but I mean, that was like 16 days before the fight, and you could tell. I don't know if Connor's just that smart. Well, Connor is a really smart guy, but. His conditioning wasn't there. I don't know. We don't know where. I felt like.
Who's conditioning, Connor or Chad?
Chad Mendez. Yeah. I felt like Uriah was almost trying to bluff. At one point, he's talking about, well, we learned that short camps are the key to Chad Mendez's success. I don't know if the 16-day short camp is the camp we're looking for there. Yeah. But the thing that Connor does is walk you down and put tremendous pressure on you. Chad could never rest. Even when they weren't engaging, he had to be on his toes. Right. And as soon as he got walked into the fence like that, I was, oh boy. When a guy's not in great shape, right away he starts with those little teeps to the body. Connor was all over Mendez's body early in the first round, and just cumulative wear. And I think that's what Connor said. Connor's something. He's going to be gasping for breath. He's going to be tired. He doesn't know the pressure I'm going to put on him. And that's exactly what he did. And the other thing that I think hurt Chad is he landed a couple clean shots that moved Connor's head. And Connor went back, composed, and came forward again.
Came right after
and that's always a son of a bitch. Right?
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker. Oh. Yeah. You hit somebody hard. And
yeah, he's still walking at me. Yeah. Like the only question I have is how long is Connor going to be able to make 145? Or, now after that, I think he'll beat Aldo.
Really?
I think he'll beat Aldo.
I think the big question was Aldo might be moving up, so Connor may have to chase him.
You never know. The next great 145er could come out of Japan, come out of the woodworks. You never know. Yeah. But I think he's cleaning that division out.
Well, how bad do you think them boys are feeling today?
Man, adrenaline's the best drug there is. I remember fights, like not sleeping, so after I won the belt, I remember sitting in the bed all night. My wife was asleep, and I'm just kind of bored in an awesome hotel room, and just amped. And then I went and played in the World Series of Poker. And I didn't sleep for a couple days. I was just so, all my fights, wins or losses, were kind of like that, And then I do
No, I always
remember.
hid. After I lost, I'd always hide. I was like, what the hell happened to me?
Yeah.
The only year I was healthy was in '96.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was the only year. After that, the best I ever was 75%. After that, and then started going downhill.
A lot of people don't, wouldn't assume this, but the worst moment of my career was actually when I lost to Shogun in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because that was one fight I can't make an excuse for. That's like one of the few fights I was pretty healthy going into.
Yeah.
Like I was really healthy going into that fight, And then to lose that one, I was like, man, it might really, like, I am not gonna be back in the title hunt. Like I was like,
Yeah.
because in the back of my mind, I was like, I think I can do this again. I'm ready for the bounce back. I got my shoulder fixed. I feel all right. And then after that, I fell apart in the gym. So don't train. That would be my advice. Don't really train. Maybe do a little elliptical. 'Cause training gets you hurt.
Yeah, save yourself.
Yeah,
right.
save you get beat up in the fight.
I had no patience. I didn't have the patience to stretch.
Yeah.
And it caught up with me. You need to spend that time stretching and then thinking about what
Warm
you're
up,
going to do.
cool
right?
down, smarter, shorter practices. Yeah. But I always like when I coached the show one season. I worked those guys to death. And I worked out with them every day, and I basically tried to push them all as hard as I pushed myself. And they were like, I don't know, are you sure this is the way? This isn't how we do it at home. And I was like, yeah, this is how you do it for real in the UFC, guys.
Yeah, that's the problem is a trainer and a fighter's going to have a love-hate relationship. Trainer's going to love the fighter, fighter's going to hate the trainer, But just love them enough to do everything they say, but hate them for doing it, too.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
certain fighters who are married to their trainer or screwing their trainer, you're going to go nowhere. Let's talk about your championship fight.
That one time well, let's talk about yours. Let me get the geek up below out. Maybe I can remember that far back.
Get the 8mm reel out.
No, but seriously, I watched your first fights on VHS.
Yeah.
That's just true. That's just true.
Yeah, we got some still. We got them holding up the dresser, They slide them right there and they balance it out. Yeah.
Oh, man. How did you train back then?
We did everything, partner. We did it. You sectioned it out.
Yeah.
You
that's
get
what I
up,
did.
you do your run, and you go back and you eat, and then you go hit the bag for an hour and a half. I would throw a CD in, and I would jump rope for the whole CD, or I would hit the bag for the whole CD.
Yeah.
And then we would do the boxing, we'd do the sparring, then we would go home, eat, take a nap, what have you, and then go back and do the wrestling, and everything was separated back then.
Yeah, that's what I did too. Like one night, I went to a judo class and we did judo in the gi. And the next day we did a wrestling class where we just wrestled. And then we did jujitsu. And believe it or not, when I started, after that, like the next day we did like boxing and then stick fighting. Like the Dog Brothers stick fighting. Like we were doing that like twice a week. I'm like, this is...
No, we never did stick
We
fighting.
do like stick fighting and then knife drills. And I was like, dude, I carry a gun. I don't need
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
I don't need any of this. When karate guys fought in the old day, they just got their asses kicked.
Right.
So people thought karate's stupid. And I remember throwing jump kicks because I always had good jump when I was a kid. So I would jump knee and jump kick. And I remember being told, don't do that stuff. It's never going to work in real life.
I was the bread and butter. I was the money maker.
Yeah.
So you gotta have sparring partners who sacrifice themselves.
Yeah.
If we're tied up or we're going down, you got to take the injury. You got to put yourself in that position for the fall. You got to protect me at all times. There's the difference. You get one asshole in there, and he thinks he's going for the gold in the workout room, and he injures the money guy. Everybody's broke.
Fighting's kind of dumb. It's hard on you. It hurts.
It's extremely hard on
But
you.
the great thing is, I guess you did, but I never got up early in the morning because you fight at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock. Why would you get up early? That's stupid. I was, you got to train like 7, 8, so.
No, we used to work so damn hard. We looked forward to the fight so the training would be over.
When you started, Don, what'd you think of the UFC? And, people always ask me this. Did you ever think the UFC would be this big? When I found it, I did, because I love basketball, I love football, and I saw the UFC, and I quit watching basketball and football more or less. I watch a little bit now of the playoffs, but I saw the UFC, and I was like, man, this is what it's about, you know? Like, why isn't everybody watching this? I remember, like, hey, look, and people being like, yeah, that's weird. And, you know, just like, don't you understand that this is it? Like, what do you watch? What's on Sports Center when the basketball guys fight? So let's just skip the stupid basketball thing and with the tall. You got to be tall. You ain't even got to be tall to fight.
Right.
You know?
And make weight.
Yeah. You fight people your own size. It's great. And that's why the 145ers, 135ers, the 125ers will take off because there's no other sport for those guys.
Right. Absolutely.
But no, I always thought the UFC would be this big because I think fighting is the epitome of human competition.
You got Weidman versus Rockhold coming up, man. I think Rockhold ought to be in the movies. That guy's just too pretty to be a fighter, you know?
You know, I think he's all right looking, but everybody says how pretty he is. I'm like, he's not that pretty. I mean,
You know? We're not talking Forrest Griffin pretty.
Let's rein it in here.
Yeah,
He's
okay.
really good looking for a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, like if he was in the movies, he'd be average looking, right?
No, I've seen some pretty ugly actors, you know.
Yeah, but they were playing. I think it was you. It was you, wasn't it? You.
Looking old guy and talking. I can get this motorcycle insurance. Oh yeah.
Well, but I'm a pretty guy though.
Yeah. Well, you got the stash. Pull it off in the hat. You can't tell with the hat, so that's why you wear that, just to distract from the rest.
Like, everybody looks at the hat. They don't look what's underneath, you know.
Rockhold's impressed me a lot. He's lost a couple times, but for some reason, I just see his development, and his overall game, and his size as being a little better to Weidman's. And the other thing I would say is he works out with Kane in DC regularly, so his wrestling background, like he's going to be ready for whatever.
Either one of those guys impressed me. I'm sorry.
Kane or DC?
Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to be phenomenal wrestlers, and I see them get thrown around. No, I'm going with Weidman. I think Weidman's going to destroy him. I think Weidman's a much better wrestler all the way around. Being a champion makes you a 25% better fighter, right? Is what the old theory was.
Is that true?
I think so. You know,
You just said it.
when I had
Write
the
it
belt,
down.
well, it's gold now, right?
Yeah.
It's the word of God. It's
just
the
said it.
11th commandment, right?
Well, it might have been 11, but they lost that one. It was the 11th.
He dropped
They
it.
just lost. They're like, you're carrying those,
Moses came off the mountain smoking little guns. He dropped it. You know?
those heavy tablets, you know,
Yeah.
like I can only carry 10.
It's a PS on the other side.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. I
postmark.
like it. All right, what's the next breakdown we got here?
Cerrone dos Anjos.
Cerrone
You just took over the show, man. Why don't we just call it Griffin's predictions here?
because the Predators' predictions sound so much better. That's Griffin's thoughts.
Yeah.
Musings by Forrest Griffin.
There
Now
you
it's
go.
Deep thoughts by
Deep
Jack
thoughts by
Kennedy.
Forrest.
But
Forrest, thanks.
all right, so what do you got? Dos Anjos, Cowboy.
You know, I gotta go with Cowboy for
Yeah?
obvious reasons. Yeah, I think right now he's bulletproof. You know, he's riding a Bronco and he can't get bucked off.
He takes a lot of damage early in fights. We saw that against Alvarez. We saw that. We see that in all his fights. Early in the fight, he starts a little slow, takes a lot of damage. I don't know that he can take that much damage against Dos Anjos' power. I thought what happened with when Dos Anjos fought Pettis was surprised that Dos Anjos took his shots and delivered bigger shots.
Right.
And then Pettis all of a sudden was like, whoa, this guy's taking my stuff and he's hitting back harder, which, you know, Pettis isn't used to that. And,
You can't think about that in a fight, though, and that's where it broke him.
Yeah,
you know, he
no,
broke
I
mentally.
think, yeah. But again, we're just talking about a guy like, oh, shoot, you know.
No, when you think about that, it's like every fighter, when a fighter starts complaining to the referee, it's over. He's out of the fight.
Both guys did in our main event last night, Mendez and Connor. Connor because Mendez was putting his hand on the cut, and I think Mendez was a little confused about what's a legal elbow. The north-south elbow is legal when you're on your back. It's only the heaven to earth elbow that's illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah. but they call it a 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock elbow, which when you're on your back, 12-6. And so it's kind of confusing. So they should call it a heaven to earth elbow. Anyway, Cerrone,
That's the 11th commandment.
Cerrone
Heaven
does that. It might even be the 12th. There were a lot of them. Man. He just took his favorite 10 is what happened.
That's it, yeah.
All right, so Dos Anjos, Cerrone, you got Cerrone. I am not so sure. I think Cerrone tends to take as exciting as he tends to take a lot of damage early in fights. And I don't know that he can sustain that from Dos Anjos. However, he does have a really significant reach advantage. So, again, yeah, that's my prediction. Do you like the way I gave no predictions whatsoever?
You dance around everything.
I mean, should I go ahead and run for some sort of political
You should.
office now? I think I should.
the Walmart challenge here. You know?
Let me preface this, Don, by saying, one, I work for the UFC. I'd like to continue working for the UFC. Two, I actually love Ronda Rousey. She's great for the sport, and she's what female fans need. I love Ronda Rousey. She's taken the sport places it could never have been before. You know, my wife and mother like Ronda Rousey. You know.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's a phenomenal athlete.
Did you know that 50% of the population is women? Have you heard this?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
I'm almost 40% certain of that.
Well, if they get out of the kitchen, maybe I would start counting them, you know. But they're doing such a good job, you know, feeding and producing babies. You know, they have a place to be.
I think it's Betche Correa, but how do you say it?
Bitchy Correa.
You're right there, real close.
Yeah, Ronda doesn't even, she submits everybody in this bitchy here. Shit, she never made one submission yet, you know, so how do you think it's going to go? Come on.
Ronda's biggest problem is she doesn't have a formidable opponent.
Right, absolutely.
And that's not her fault. That's no fault of her own.
No, she does. What's
Cyborg.
Cyborg.
Yeah, she can't make 35, though.
Well, hey, Ronda says she can beat a man. If you're gonna
It weighs 135.
I don't want to hear that shit. If you're gonna claim you can beat a man, then throw away the test and throw away the weight, the scale, and get in there and fight.
Yeah.
Okay, impress the shit out of me. Otherwise, stay with the winning and don't say that you beat a man. You know, that's my only bitch. And I think she's a phenomenal athlete. She's a great judo player, but she has not been in a fight yet. Because it's no fault to her.
You know, I think every time people try and really bring it, it doesn't work out for them. Maybe you can't pressure Ronda. Like, people think they need to go out.
You can't, because she was a
judo. Yeah, you come
judo.
and give her her weight.
Shit, she had 1,000 fights before. You know, judo's not checkers. You know, judo's a
tough.
fight.
Judo's stupid.
So
you did judo. It's dumb. It just hurts.
She's had 1,000 fights before she got into the MMA thing.
Yeah.
She's so experienced, it's ridiculous.
So you think she's going to win easily?
Without breaking the sweat.
I think Betche will touch her a couple times on the feet, fight a little smarter than her last opponents have. Hopefully her camp will not let her force it, and she'll be able to touch her a little bit on the feet. And at some point, Ronda will close distance and take her down. And we've just seen what happens when Ronda gets people down.
I think what you're going to start seeing is Ronda's going to get bored, you know, and she's going to pull a John Jones. You know, when John Jones fought Glover or whatever his name is, it doesn't matter. But he said, well, let's try this, let's try that. He just started trying shit just to see, you know, what it was like.
Anderson used to do that too.
Yeah, and eventually Ronda's going to do it because she's going to get bored with these people.
Or she'll, you know, go make movies.
Right.
And do entertainment stuff, which I don't think is bad for the sport, because I think people will see her making movies and doing her thing and be like, yeah, she's the girl from the UFC, you know? She made her name.
And Ronda could do a 2-week camp and still win.
Yeah, well, I don't think she ever truly gets out of shape. She doesn't.
Right.
She does a little something every day, from what I hear.
All right, Forrest, you're boring the hell out of me. I've had
time
enough
to
of this
go.
shit.
It's
Yeah,
enough.
so
It's enough.
yeah,
I ran out
before you leave,
Yeah.
and I hope it's really fast.
It
What's the future of the UFC here?
The future of the UFC is great. New stars every day. I see the next breed of kids training in the gym, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that have the same skill set that I did when I was in my prime. You know, they already know this stuff.
You had a skill set?
They have YouTube now these days. And I mean, well, but like I said, better skill set. Hopefully I said that. However, my future within the UFC is not so certain after doing
the show.
After doing Predators predictions, I may get fired. Because,
we'll be on the same corner. We'll work for food.
People think I'm some sort of crazy misogynist just for hanging out with you, just because you wear a cowboy hat. And
you giving a massage?
Misogynist. Isn't that the thing? Misogynistic?
Yes. Misogynistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd be a misogynist if you'd be a misogynist.
Yes.
So I'm not a masseuse. I love
massager.
women. I respect women, and mostly I just do what they say, and that's worked out for me pretty good, honestly. Women
Well, they
tell me what
obviously
to
don't
do.
dress you.
My wife does. Not this morning.
Wow.
She dressed me last night, though. I look good. I look sharp.
Those
be
your
honest.
PJs? Yeah.
I look sharp
Look like
last
you just
night.
crawled out of bed.
I did. I did.
I think what we should do is maybe while we've got that Sharpie there and the book, is for both of you to sign it, and we'll give it away to.
This Las Vegas
some
guide.
Yeah.
Alright.
Should I just sign?
Oh, wait, no, we want to do it in front of the screen,
We're
right?
doing it.
Well, this is
Are you
happening.
filming it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, Forrest, sign away, and we'll give it to some bozo who watches this show.
I know you're tempted to sign over Aldo's face because he did not fight that fight, but try not to. Or do what you want.
Sounds like
Do what you want.
you're asking me to do
It
that.
was almost like I challenged
Yes,
you.
you
It
did.
looks good though. You gave him the fry,
That's
the
it,
fry
baby.
stash.
Yes,
I like
don't
it.
get some eyebrows. Gotta have the eyebrows. There you go. Now he looks like a man.
You know, I like the way he was like pushing his hair back in the fight, like between times.
I'm so
He's like,
pretty.
What's up? Just here fixing my hair. Oh, that guy.
All right, there you go.
Did I ever tell you the story about how I only have one
No,
nut?
you never talked. We've never talked about your one nut. Let's talk about your one nut, please. God.
On that note, I think we should wrap it up. And I'll look for my pink slip in the mail.